to another episode of the Property Guys podcast. So
right.
we're super excited to be here.
podcasts.
Podcast.
Yes.
So who are we thinking today? We have one of our sponsors right here with us.
Yeah, we do.
All right.
Daren Greig from
Daren
Hop
Greig from
Mortgage.
Hop Mortgage.
Thanks for having me, guys.
You guys have heard so much about Hop Mortgage, and now you're going to find out
Yes,
what's
the
really
truth.
under the hood.
And you got, I love it. He wore the brown as back hat. I should have
Yeah.
wore mine. I didn't know.
I bought this in February thinking there'd be baseball.
Yeah.
and
Well, today,
I've saved it for today.
today's
Yeah, there you
opening
go.
day, ironically.
Yeah, it's perfect. That's why I wore it. That's the
Nice.
rule, right? You're supposed to wear it on
Yeah.
opening day, and then you forget about
Did
the
you hear you
Padres
can-
right after that.
I must have missed that memo because I didn't wear mine.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Did you hear you can pay $150 and have them take a picture of yourself and they'll put a cardboard cutout of yourself in the seats?
Really?
Yeah. You have to pay $150.
What do you
for
get
them
for
to
like
do
$10?
that.
You get the outfield with the
I don't
cardboard
know.
cutout, or
Yeah, I don't think they ever-
300 for right behind home
I
plate.
don't
or
think they
what?
ever show that. It's probably just the stuff in the view of the cameras.
Where did you even hear that?
On the radio today.
Oh, gotcha.
Now that's Dodger Stadium, so maybe
It's cheaper.
At Petco, it's like $12.95.
Yeah,
Get a hot dog or cardboard cutout.
exactly.
Yeah.
Interesting. All
Well,
right,
hopefully
cool.
the Padres win. Hopefully everyone's teams out there win. We'll see.
Yeah. Well, they're not all going to win.
They're not all going to win at the same time.
50-50
anyways.
shot.
Yeah. Yeah. You know what I did here? What's interesting? Right off the bat, we're going on a tangent. By the way, this is not what the podcast is supposed to be about. But they
Sports are back.
They agreed to 16 teams making the playoffs
Really?
this year. So that means that literally, I think 14 won't make it. So the majority of teams that will
It's
make
the
it.
new America.
And they're going to do
Yeah, right.
They're going to do a 3
No
game.
team left behind.
Exactly.
Can't make them feel bad for missing the playoffs.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
So they're going to do a 3-game series, or whoever qualifies, and then like elimination.
Interesting.
Oh, that's
so
cool.
if you don't make the playoffs, you really, really suck.
You really suck.
You really, really suck.
So, well,
Okay. Well,
Florida Marlins.
but I don't even want to say what team popped in my head. Well, hopefully they can pull it together this year.
yeah.
I think they will.
I'm representing them, yeah.
I think they will.
Yeah.
They should be good. That was the first time they're going to be good in forever.
They got
Supposedly.
it.
I'm not a big, huge
have
fan,
the
but I mean,
lineup.
I've heard that
Yeah.
they're supposed to be good.
Some of the stuff I was reading, they're like a long shot, granted, but like
Yeah.
there's articles like who's the team, or like Fernando Tatis Jr. is one of the people they're picking like as a long shot for the MVP.
Yeah.
But they're
He's a
saying he
stud.
has a shot.
Yeah.
Nice.
He's a legit stud.
Yeah. We need something in San Diego.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Anything.
We hate you, Dean Spanos. We hate you
Dean
so
Spanos,
much.
Very bad man. Very, very bad
Exactly.
man.
You are a bad man.
You are a bad man.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm delighted in the misery he's having in
I know,
LA though.
I know.
As a San Diegan.
I know. We're very vindictive people. That's all we got, man. A lot of
Nothing
bitterness.
left.
Sports
Lot
wise.
of bitterness,
It's a
yeah.
happy life we have. It's sunny out all the time.
You got to find something to complain about.
Yeah.
It's hard here.
Exactly.
That's a valid point, Darren.
Yeah.
We can complain about
If we were
something.
winning championships,
Our
we'd have
sports
really
team.
nothing to complain about.
Yeah, exactly.
Like the surf is not perfect today, or
Right. I
Yeah,
know.
Who
you're
knows?
right. Well, we have great weather, great food, great beaches,
Yeah.
great people,
Yeah,
Right
great
now-
industries.
right now, no
a
trouble.
great housing market.
absolutely.
Yeah. So I guess we should actually talk some real estate. So
Well, I was trying to pull us back around.
Yeah, I like
no,
that.
you did that
Oh,
good.
that's
I
good.
got it.
Thank you.
I totally got it.
Oh, thank you.
So one of the things that we're running into is a lot of complexities with loans. There's rates, there's jumbo loans, there's FHA, there's VA, different conventional products now with PMI. Some have PMI, some don't. So when we get people who write in and we're working with, they're super confused about what to do.
Yeah.
So let's talk first about the types of loans and how those work and how they're different.
Yeah, and it's changed a lot since all the COVID stuff. Honestly, there was a lot more options. The banks have gotten a lot stricter with the forbearance issues. I think there's some crazy number, like 30% of the people went into forbearance, and it was at first 47% were still making their payment. Now it's down to like 11% of people making their payment. So
I just sent him that article.
it's getting worse. But I
interesting.
mean, so that's obviously banks are when they're afraid of not getting paid their money back, they get a lot more conservative and they get a lot more strict with things. So
Right.
the box has shrunk a little bit. I mean, there's still, if you're still a conventional FHA, VA for conventional and FHA up to 700,000, as far as the loan amount goes, there's still a lot of opportunities there. Really nothing has changed. The rates are incredible.
Yeah.
For VA purchases, you can get up to $1 million with nothing down still, so that's great. Some of the stuff, the jumbo stuff has gone away. You still have to put 20% down. The 10% down jumbo stuff has gone away. Some of the down payment assistance programs have gone away.
Got it.
That's
When-
really the people that have been hurt the most. It's the people that don't have any money to put down and people that were trying to buy a 1.5 million place with 10% down.
Got
When
it.
do you think the down payment assistance stuff might come back, though?
I honestly, one of the reasons that it fell apart is that they changed their contract. So they basically made it where the state was going to grant them 3% of their down payment, and if they default, the state takes that liability. Now they put that on me as the business owner to pay that back if the person defaults. So banks have just said, I'm not going to. Why would I take on that risk? It doesn't make any sense.
Got it.
And so it just made it. Again, I mean, banks, as a banker, as in finance, we're adverse to risk. We want to lend you money at a cheap rate, and we want to get that money back.
Right.
And so we think that we're going to lend you money, we're going to make $10,000 on it, but there's a risk we could lose $50,000. We're not going to do that. It doesn't make sense.
Mm-hmm.
So that's just kind of where.
So
that
talk
comes
about
down.
too.
It's a good way to put it, too.
Yeah, to the complete novice out there, and there's probably a lot of you guys watching this or listening to it. Explain the difference between a VA loan and how that works and what it means, an FHA loan, and then a conventional loan. And
So a VA loan, the biggest thing, there's no down payment. It's the best loan you can get, period. If you're a
Agreed.
veteran
Yeah.
and you don't own a house, it's crazy. Especially if you're active duty, the BAH is going to pay your mortgage payment basically for you.
Yeah.
Conventional loans, you have to bring more skin to the table. I mean, if you're up to 510 right now in San Diego, you have to put 3% down. If you go over that, you have to put 5% down, up to 701,000 basically.
And then there's PMI on those up until you're at 20%, basically.
Correct. And
Right.
so and then it diminishes. So if you put 3% down, it's going to be a higher PMI ratio versus if you put 15% down.
Which is
Okay.
private mortgage insurance.
Private mortgage insurance.
Did
correct.
it?
Right.
I wasn't sure about the P.
There you go.
Yeah, and then there's the FHA, which is the government mortgage insurance. So that's just mortgage insurance. And then you have an upfront mortgage insurance. You pay a fee up front that's added to your loan balance, and then you pay a monthly. It's more expensive, but FHA is designed for more people with a little bit lower credit. People had maybe had bankruptcy in the last few years.
Right.
And so they're going to charge a little bit more to do those loans.
And now they completely reworked VA loans as well, right? There used to be a VA funding fee. It was like 10 grand. A lot of people would finance it as part of their loan, but didn't they do away with stuff like that?
So the funding fee still exists, but what is gone is now that if you went over the county loan limit, you'd have to put 25% down of the difference. So if you bought a house at, let's say, just for easy numbers, the county loan limit was 700,000. You bought a house at 800,000, you'd have to put 25,000 down.
Okay.
Now you can do nothing down up to $1 million. So if you go over $1 million, every bank's different. Technically, the VA does not have a limit period, but most banks have put a limit of $1 million.
Yeah.
So over that, you typically have to put 10% down. So you could do a $2 million home, put 10% down,
Oh,
and use your VA benefits still.
gotcha. That's crazy.
Wow,
by
that's
the way.
great, actually.
Yeah.
So if you're out there and you have a VA loan, you should call Hop Mortgage because they have a pretty darn good program for
Yeah.
you.
Yeah, and rates are just how far your money goes these days versus even 6 months ago is insane. I mean, if you get rates down in the low 2% now in VA
I know.
Right.
versus even 3.5%. I mean, we're refinancing people, saving them $700-800 a month. That's
I know.
on a purchase. That's like 100 to 150 grand.
Well, they're working
extra
on.
purchase
I can
price.
tell you, they're working
Yeah.
on mine right now. You are processing it, I'm assuming.
Yeah,
So we're at 3.5. We just did it like what, 8 months ago,
probably 9 months ago. Yeah.
right? And now we're looking at a 2.625, maybe 2.5, somewhere in there though.
Yeah.
And we're gonna save like $375 to $400 a month.
Yeah.
That's right.
It's like,
Darren sent
wow.
me the application like 18
About 12
times, and I
times now.
haven't filled it out yet. But
Some
that's only
bars,
because
some
we have
people
so
just
many clients
they,
we're helping get in the homes.
they don't care about money. I mean, it's nice to be in that position. You can
Yeah,
just
just
throw
throw
that
it
money
out.
away every month.
I wouldn't go
if
that
you don't
far.
care.
I know, right? Well, we had to give Joe Rogan kickbacks for sending us this.
Yeah, he sends us his apple juice.
He sends us
Perfect.
his apple
That's
juice.
nice of him.
Yeah,
Trying
it's
to-
very
yeah.
nice of him. I would like UFC tickets too, by the
Yeah,
way.
yeah, yeah.
If you're ever watching Joe Rogan.
If you
Right.
can get tickets
I
to
will-
go somewhere someday, yeah, that would
I'll
be great.
literally like get your drinks and do whatever you want. Just give
Tickets
me
are
UFC
easy
tickets.
now.
Yeah.
Just actually
I know.
going to the
Can't
event.
use the
I'll
ticket.
get you a
That's the
ticket.
problem.
You can't go or go in, but
I'll get you tickets. Don't
Yeah,
worry.
I had
That's right.
You're in.
opening day tickets to Padres, and I have an email sitting in my inbox from StubHub now that's like, you get a refund, you can use this. You can't get a refund, but you can use it for next event. And I'm like, this thing might be sitting in my email
when-
for 3
when-
years.
yeah.
I use it for
When,
another event.
when is the next
Exactly.
event? Exactly.
you cash it in the next time the All-Star Game's in San Diego.
Perfect.
You're like, yep, I got my ticket
Yeah.
right here.
Yeah.
So this is another thing I think it's interesting to kind of let people in on. So we're going to look under the hood of lending a little. And so you have what they call banking institutions, right? Your Citibanks, your Chase, your Wells Fargo. That's
Depository lenders, yeah.
Thank you. Depository
Institutional
lenders.
Yeah.
institutional. Yeah, that's the word I was looking for. Okay. And then you have your brokerages, which
Mortgage
are
brokers.
like companies like you guys used to be with Cross Country.
That's a
obviously.
mortgage bank.
Right.
It's technically a mortgage bank.
See, I'm
So
getting
that's-
all this terminology
yes.
wrong, but see, he'll correct me. But
So that's a wholesale lender. That's
Yeah.
not a wholesale. That's a direct lender.
Yeah.
All they do is mortgages.
All right.
So they don't do checking accounts, savings accounts,
Right.
investment accounts.
So
That's
here's what I'm
Good.
trying to get to
That's good information.
for people out there is what's interesting is so they were working with a mortgage lender.
Yes.
See, I
Correct.
did that correctly, and their rates were higher.
Yes.
And sometimes they would lose loans, which we wanted them to get, but they wouldn't get them because people had low rates. So what you guys did was kind of set up your own shop, right? So
Yeah,
talk
so
about
we-
kind of how that works. I think that's a misnomer for people out there that don't understand.
Yeah.
how
So
it
one
works.
of the things, I mean, we noticed we have friends that were in the wholesale banking world, which is what a mortgage broker is technically. We're on a wholesale level, and
Right.
actually, when I was working for the we call retail side, I went to refinance my own place,
Yeah.
and my buddy in Atlanta who owns his own mortgage broker, he could give me a better deal than I could get as an employee of a bank. And so then I started looking around,
That's
and started
ridiculous.
seeing this,
Yeah.
and I just couldn't. I couldn't sell that product anymore. I just felt like I was
Right.
not. I want to do my clients by the best they can do, and I just couldn't justify selling them a 4.5% when I could get a 3.75 somewhere
Right.
else, and like that would cost them. Again, getting them the house that they potentially want, that could be a $75,000 difference.
Totally agree.
And
Yep.
in San Diego, at 500,000
I
versus
know.
575 is
It's a
a
world
home
of
you've got to
difference.
like force yourself to buy versus a house you want to buy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so that was a huge difference. And again, it's just kind of once you see the other side of once the curtain's removed or whatever it's called, it's hard to go back
To go back,
and to
yeah,
sell
yeah.
that product. So
Oh, yeah.
we did that for about 4 or 5 months. And then Ryan and I, my partner, decided let's do our own thing and start our own shop, and it's been
Yeah.
awesome.
Let's say hi to
Yeah,
Ryan
right.
out there, Ryan McGrew.
Yeah, we should
Yeah.
give
What's up,
Ryan a
buddy?
shout out. Why is Ryan not here?
Yeah, let's
today?
talk about what's going on with
Taking care
Ryan.
of, little Jaden now.
He's got a little bundle of joy in his house.
Yes, he does.
Congratulations, Ryan.
Well done.
You guys are now parents.
Daddy.
That's right.
Yes,
it's
it's
the best
exciting.
thing you can do.
Ryan and his
I've
wife
heard that.
Juliet.
Yeah, that's
Juliet.
right. So that's
They're,
good.
so
They're,
he's
they're
can't-
not sleeping still.
Yeah,
I
And
can't
he-
imagine. Yeah, I
he's
talked to him
camp-
yesterday. He was sounded like he couldn't
Yeah.
hardly keep his eyes open. So
Yeah, I'm
Yeah.
sure. He's camped out at home till you said maybe next week. Is that kind of the
yeah,
idea?
he's supposed to kind of get back to work, possibly next week or the following.
And that's when you're going to head off to Mexico.
Yeah, exactly. I'll be disappearing. Yeah.
Yep. There you go.
I think it's about the only place you can go these days, by the way.
It's good.
They don't seem to care.
No, they need the money.
Yeah.
I mean, at some point, everyone's gonna stop caring if your economy's.
Yeah.
They can't print money like we can.
know.
So it's a little
Okay,
different.
so here, like I said, we're trying to get under the hood of lending here.
Yeah,
so,
let's ask some really
So from the
hard questions.
Well, from the
What are the
consumer
hard questions?
standpoint, and this is what we get on our end. People get really frustrated, and they call it like, "Why the? Can you bleep stuff out? By the way, I'm asking our producer. Why the? Dude, they keep asking me for the same
You went
fucking
there.
document over and over.
and over. Why is underwriters the worst
Yeah.
human beings on the
So
face of the planet? Can you
explain how
that
an
to me?
underwriter works and where it fits into this whole process.
So their job is to make sure that when they loan you $500,000 that you pay it back.
Right.
Mhm.
And so they want to make sure that you have a job. They want to make sure that you make the income that you say you make.
Right.
And if you submit the biggest frustration is people say, I already gave him my bank stamps. I already gave him my pay stub. That's true, but you gave us the ones from 2 months ago. We need the ones now. We need to make sure that you're still making what you made. We need to make sure that you haven't, deposited some huge amount of money, that you're doing some money laundering, and that's what they're trying to protect against. It's
Right.
It's their law that they have to do that. So it's not like they want to do that. None of us want to do that.
Right.
We would have loved to just ask you for nothing, like in 2004. We didn't have to ask you for anything. That's
Right.
great.
Right. But we saw what happened.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
But now, it's part of the checks and balances, and it works. It's like, and it
Yeah.
can be annoying, but depending on how much stuff you've got. I mean, if you're a W-2 employee, it's not that hard. If you've got
Right.
3 businesses and you've got 2 other properties and you've got all this stuff, like it's going to be more challenging. It's just part of
Yeah.
that's the
So how?
advantage
the
to having
nature
those
of the
assets,
beast.
and that's the disadvantage.
So I've
of
never
those
met
assets.
an underwriter. How are they wired? What are these people like? Like I have this image of somebody who's sort of like a bean counters kind of person,
They
who
like
would be
to
into
sit at
like
their desk
programming,
in a dark room and not talk to
right?
anyone. Yeah.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
they're like lending, underwriting vampires, is what you're
Yeah,
saying.
for the most part. I mean, there's some that are cool, but 99% of them, they just want to get the paperwork, give it to them, and they'll look at it and move on. But
Well, that's
They
the
have a
difference
tough and
between a
awful
me and an
job.
underwriter.
Yeah.
they have an
Could you
awful
just
job.
sit at a desk and just look through
No.
gobs of paperwork
No.
and people's
No way.
financials? I could.
No.
I could not do it at all.
No, it's like I said, they have the worst job. probably in the world. But
and they take it out on
Wasn't
buyers.
for
Is
that-
that what you're
wasn't for
saying?
us.
Worst job in the world.
They have the worst job in the world. And they take it out on buyers.
Okay, hold on. Let's tangent off because this is a good spot. Okay, I don't think it's the worst job in the world. I'm gonna give you a job that's worse
Oh,
because when
brother.
I was 19 years old, I got offered this job.
Yeah. Okay.
I was just out of high school. I didn't go back to college yet, and I thought, you know what, I need to make a good living, and so I was answering ads and stuff, and so I went on this interview, and it was at this industrial center, okay, and I didn't even know what it was. It was for a supervisor role, whatever. And I walk in, and the guy's, we really like you, Frederick. And the guy's like, so do you have a squeamish stomach? And I'm like, why?
Not a good question.
Why?
Yeah, right.
He's like, well, you're going to be out in the field, and you're going to be, we're going to be sending you to construction sites, places like that. You have to empty the Andy Gumps, the portable toilets.
Oh no.
And he goes, there's some peculiar smells, is the way he phrased it, and there'll be some gaseous odors. And I'm like, yeah, I don't think that's for me, man. So I'm going to say that emptying porta potties is a worse job.
When you're
than-
19 and you're getting offered a supervisor role, that's probably a sign it's not the best job.
Yeah, exactly. You're going right to supervisor.
That's a good
That's
point.
your first sign.
See, I didn't think of it.
Oh
Listen.
yeah, right. You're like,
What's
I'm
a
a
worse?
super-
What's a worse job that you either
Oh, my.
had or you went on an interview?
All
with?
right, I'll tell you a story. I'll tell you a long-winded story that ends disgustingly, and I'll try to keep it as clean as I can.
Yeah.
It's actually pretty similar to yours. So it was when I had the Highlander listed. I was trying to sell the building,
Yeah.
and so part of it was I had to lease out the offices to get the income up to support the sales price.
Right.
The sellers wanted to sell it at, right?
Commercial property.
Commercial
like
property in
15
downtown
units
Chula
or
Vista
something
on
like that.
3rd Ave.
Yeah.
Anywho, so I would always make sure it's locked up. I worked from the building for a long time because I would be showing places and leasing places. Somehow, someone gets in the building one night, and we had an upstairs bathroom, and there was stalls, and they must have just pounded 18 gallons of colon blow or something. Because I got a call the next morning from one of my tenants, oddly enough, named Glenn, and they're like, yeah, you might want to get over here and clean up the bathroom. It's pretty bad. I'm like, all right, it can't be that big
How
of a deal.
bad could it be?
Yeah, how bad could it be? I walk in, the toilet is full, full above the rim.
Oh.
It's all over the back of the toilet. It's behind the toilet. It's on the walls. Like somebody intentionally
It was like
did this.
like a gorilla went in there.
Yeah, like a gorilla went in there. It was just like
that's just
everywhere. And
Okay.
so I walked out, like, there's no way I'm cleaning this. And one of the other tenants had a son,
Yeah.
and I'm just like, hey, you want to make like a quick $100? He's like, yeah, sure, because he needs money.
Yeah.
I'm like, you need to go up to the upstairs bathroom
Oh,
and clean out that
Okay.
toilet.
That was a worse job for sure for him.
That was the worst.
Not
job.
for you.
Yeah, you know what I did? I saw the job coming and I averted it. And
you were the supervisor. You promoted the supervisor.
I became the supervisor. Yeah. So he cleaned it. And
That's excellent.
I gave him the money. He cleaned it, and he's like, "I'm never doing that again."
So how about you? What's the worst job
I've
you
had
ever
nothing too great. Like pump gas growing up, and
Yeah.
worked at the golf course and the driving range. Had to clean the bathrooms and do all that stuff, but nothing like.
Did you guys have
awful.
that-
It was
did you-
freezing cold in the rain and.
Were you one of those
balls,
guys? I don't know if you know this in Oregon. So they passed it. It was actually, I think, in the late '70s because the Oregon had this huge lumber industry.
Yeah.
And so they just stopped. Basically, they stopped foresting up there, and so it was like just I don't know. They had like a 15-20% unemployment rate up there for a long time, and then they basically created a job which was pumping gas.
Yeah.
And so it's to this day you go to Oregon, you
Yeah.
can't just go in and
There's
self
certain
pump your
counties
gas.
you can now, but
Oh, is there?
super rural. They're just like this
Yeah.
doesn't make sense. But yeah,
Yeah.
you can just drive through. So
It's a
I mean,
job,
it's,
man.
It's a fine job, but when you're a kid and it's
Yeah.
it pays the bills and you get
Yeah.
tips once in a while. But
Yeah.
you come home smelling like gas. You get gas all over you. It's like
Yeah,
it's not,
right.
So it's not like cleaning out a porta potty, but
No. Yeah.
How do you get gas smell off you, anyways?
you don't take a lot of showers.
I think you have
Yeah,
to
I
love it.
guess.
You have to love it. My grandfather, he owned a service station, and
Yeah, mine did too.
Well,
did he?
It's like a thing of life. They love it.
Yeah.
I do like the smell of gasoline, though.
Yeah. That's called huffing, by the way. Those out there that are wondering, we call that huffing.
Huffing. I do not huff gasoline, guys.
Do not, or glue, or anything else
Or
for that
anything
matter.
like that. But I do like some weird smells. I like the smell of cut grass.
Okay.
Grass
I like the
is not
smell
weird.
of rain.
Rain
I like the
is
smell
good.
of
Rain smells good.
gasoline.
Yeah.
What are other? You got any weird smells you like?
You know what I do? My favorite smell is if you're out in like the desert or somewhere it's real dry and then it starts raining and there's that smell of the rain hitting the dirt.
Yeah.
I love that.
Yep, that's a good one.
Yeah, that's cut
Daren?
grass is mine. Being a golfer my whole
Is it?
life, just that
I know, cut grass.
coming
It
out in
just
the morning, the fresh grass cuts, just nothing better.
We need to still hit you with a couple hard questions.
Yeah. So if somebody's out there and they're watching the podcast or listening to it and they're trying to figure out rent versus buying, talk about some of the overt advantages of buying a house versus renting. I'll give you an example. I'll even give you a budget.
Yeah.
Let's say I live in downtown San Diego, where a lot of people live, and I'm paying $2,800 a month for a one-bedroom,
Yeah.
condo in a very high services building,
Yeah,
for example.
that's one of my rent. I have a place like that.
There we go. So talk about how to look at it from a rental standpoint, whether you should buy now or not, or wait.
I mean, it's when you're buying a home, it's a long-term thing. If you're going to be here for a year, 2 years, there's a good chance you should probably rent. I mean, it's just reality. Like real estate is a long-term play. The thing with rent is that it's always increasing, right? Owning, once you put your money down, you're done. Your payment's not going up in California. They don't reassess the taxes. They don't. If you have an HOA, they might bump that up slightly every year, or whatever. But I mean, for the most part, you can guarantee your payments. Let's say you're paying $2,800 rent, but you might pay $3,200 on the mortgage with the HOA and all that. But that's $3,200 for the next 30 years.
Right.
So eventually that $2,800 will become $3,400 or $3,200 or whatever it is.
Sure.
And you don't get the tax benefits, you don't get the appreciation, you don't get a lot of other benefits. You can't, if you decide you want to redo the floors,
Right.
why it's just a waste of money versus if you own it, you can put the floors you want in, you can paint it the color you want it, you can do a lot of things with it.
Yeah, I want to check something too.
Are you gonna go there?
No, I'm going to play with the amortization table. This is
Oh, gotcha.
No, I don't have
And
it.
of course,
I
when
do
you're
have it.
owning, that money goes
Hold on.
to the bank, or I mean, it goes into your house, and it helps you buy down that road. That
Technology.
The
the
balance.
principal,
yeah.
the balance. Yeah.
And that's the thing you think about. It's like if you're comparing rent to owning, to me is your interest payment and your property taxes and insurance is really the equivalent of what you're renting, because the principal of, let's say it's $800 a month,
Exactly.
that's just like forced savings. It just goes into your savings account, which
Totally
you're really paying. The fees are, the rent is just solely 100% a fee.
Right.
The same is for interest and for the taxes, but you get to write those off too, so it's not even a direct correlation. So I mean, it's like we're owning in San Diego. Owning is almost always more expensive at first, but if you look over the long term, it's dramatically.
I am
less
doing
expensive.
something
That's
constructive
cool.
here. What's
No
up?
worries. I have another, just a specific question.
Yeah.
So, the jumbo market,
Mhm.
is it taking 45 days to get for
It's
jumbos?
slower. I mean, it's just slower in general because there's just not a lot of lenders that are doing it right now. The ones that are the bigger banks, typically the institutional lenders.
Yeah.
And so they're just not designed to do mortgages. They don't really like doing mortgages, so they don't have the best staff in place to do them for the most part. Not 100% of the time, but they don't make money doing mortgages.
Right. Okay.
Big banks, and so that kind of leads you to know what their priority list of that is. So
Right.
it's like if they get it done, that's great. If they loan you $2 million, they want the client that can buy a $2 million house to do banking with them. They don't really care about the mortgage. So again, they hire people that are typically
That
new
work.
to the industry.
Yeah.
They don't have to pay very much money to,
And then-
and it takes longer. It's harder to do.
Just so people know what we're talking about. So, what's that jumbo cutoff so they know? If you were buying
In
a
San
place,
Diego,
what
it's
triggers that jumbo?
$701,200. Anything over that loan amount in San Diego County is jumbo.
And then it would
Yeah.
be considered
Yeah.
a jumbo loan.
So here's what I was looking up, everybody at home. You should do this too if you're renting. You pull up what they call an amortization schedule on your loan.
Mhm.
Okay? So for example, if I had a $500,000 mortgage, okay, my payment at 3%, which is probably in line with most things we're talking about.
A little bit high, but yeah.
Yeah, I'm at 20.
a little
I'm
high.
at 2108. Okay, here's the cool part though. I pay $2,100 a month, and from day one, I put in $858 into my principal.
Yeah.
So that's what, almost 35.
You're paying like 1,200 interest,
almost,
800 in that, basically.
almost
yeah.
40%.
Yeah.
Like from day one. So to your point, the only thing that's gone is your interest, and then your taxes, your HOA payment.
And that's
things
the
like
thing
that.
too, when you own, like a lot of people, how many people save 800 and whatever dollars per month
Never.
in San Diego?
Never.
Very rarely.
Yeah.
when you own a home, you have to save $840
Yeah,
a
you
month
have
or you
no-
get
It's a
foreclosed on.
mandatory
Yeah.
If
savings.
you're bad at spending, buy a house and it'll force you to save money.
It's a mandatory savings account.
Yeah.
Yep.
That's a great way to put it.
Yeah.
And that's why people use real estate as one of the best vehicles to get wealthy.
Yeah, I know
Absolutely.
a lot of people that do it. They
Or
make
set
really
up
good money and they're
better.
bad at savings, so they buy properties because make sure that there's no way they cannot save money. It's impossible.
Yes.
Yeah, it's a good call. So you're trying to get ahead in the world? Buy a place, pay it down, take your tax write-offs,
Yeah,
That's right.
move
absolutely.
forward, you know?
Give us a call. We'll get you in contact with Daren.
Yeah, and
We'll
Ryan?
we'll get that savings plan put together for you.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, cool. Well, thank you for coming.
Well, should
Thank you
Daren,
guys, yeah.
wanna
Appreciate it.
give your contact information before we sign off really quick?
We're at hopmortgage.com or we're at 858-220-5701. Ryan's at
That's for people who actually write stuff,
534-5161. So
Yeah,
I know, everyone
easy
just
to get
took
hold of.
notes in their phone.
I know.
yes,
Well,
yeah.
thanks for
You
coming
can pause
out.
it and rewind. Perfect.
Just pause and rewind. Pause, rewind.
Appreciate you coming out.
Yeah,
I'm glad,
thanks, Darren.
I'm glad we got into your story about the giant pile of poo that was on the toilet.
Yeah, the poo
Hope-
emoji.
Hopefully we won't revisit
You know
that
what we
story
should
again.
do? Hopefully our producer can, when I'm telling the story, have the toilet and put the big giant poo
Like an
emoji
image?
on there, so they get a good visual of what it was. Just make the poo emoji
I think we all got it.
500% bigger.
Yeah. All right. Till next time, guys. We're Property Guys.
All right, guys.
See you next time.